Good morning. Trying a new app. I have no idea what's going on with that, but I'm going to try something. And what keeps coming up in my mind about what to do is a little Bible study. So let's see. Something that I've been thinking a lot about, and I like using the Blue Letter Bible. For some of my Bible study stuff. And I prefer the New King James just because that's what I'm used to. And let's see, where do I start? What first comes back to my mind is, what does the Lord require of us? And Bible verse I'm thinking of specifically, I believe, is in Micah 6:8. And he has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Kind of a foundation of justice and mercy and being humble, right? I know for me, justly means doing what is right, not treating people unfairly, and to love mercy. So being merciful, maybe when you think people deserve judgment and wrath. And humbly, for me, just means willing to be wrong and know that there's a big chance that you could be wrong. And another aspect of humility I have found is just accepting help. It's, if you want to see if somebody is humble, if they're parading as humble, ask them if you could help them with something and see how that goes. I found just kind of like it's an interesting test of humility when you ask somebody, hey, can I help you with that? Even if it's something easy. Oh, can I get that for you? No, I got it. No, don't worry about it. It's really interesting. Anyway, so Micah 6:8, we can click here. We could get the Masoretic text, if you know how to read that. Isn't that cool? We can even see the Strongs down here. So, and it breaks down the Hebrew for you. You can bring up the Hebrew word here, tsana, transliteration, part of speech. It's a verb, a primitive root. Show Strong's info. Primitive root, to humiliate, to humbly, lowly. Outline of biblical usage, to be humble, be modest, be lowly, to show humility, modesty. When pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble is wisdom. Okay. Next, I'm trying to think of where do I want to go. From humility to Well, I thought this would be easier kind of Bible searching through. But nothing like a good Bible in your hand to kind of flip through these things. So love your neighbor as yourself. Or meeting. Neighbor as... So you shall not take vengeance, nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. And that's the Old Testament reference that Jesus was referring to when he mentioned this. And then honor your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The translation, or the one in Mark I find very interesting. So let's go to Mark. And so the context here is that you could say some religious hypocrites, I don't know if they were hypocrites, but some religious people who were trying to kind of trap Jesus, the scribes, which is the first commandment of all. So then one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, perceiving that he had answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? What's the best commandment, Jesus? Jesus answered that him, the first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. Let's come back to that one. And the second is like it. Is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Now I ask you, why and how is loving God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength like loving your neighbor as yourself? To love your neighbor as if they were your very own self. There is no other commandment greater than these. And I think maybe, is it Matthew that says that it's the summary of the prophets? Let's see. So I think Matthew giving his account of what happened here. So then one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question, testing him and saying, Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? And again, Jesus said to him, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. I find it interesting in Mark, he mentions, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like it. It's like it. I think I saw a translation one that said it's similar. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. And I take that to mean that you can summarize the whole Bible into these two commandments to love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And it is like it to love your neighbor as yourself. And maybe a key exists here. If we go back to Mark and Let's go to this one. Wait, not that one. This one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And let's see, the word one here. In the Greek, of course, which he was speaking Aramaic, so it would be nice to have a translation in Aramaic, but you don't see that very often, which is very odd to me. I don't think I've seen it at all. But if anybody has translations of Aramaic, I'd love to see them, because I'd like to know what Jesus was saying, not what he was translated as saying. Show the Strong's info. A primary numeral, one, abundantly, man, one, only, other. Show outline and biblical usage, concordance results. Do you want to get a concordance result here? Because I want to see where, because this is in the Old Testament, this comes from the Ten Commandments, I do believe. The Textus Receptus. Here. Can I copy? I can copy. And here's the mention. I believe this is the Ten Commandments here. Let's go see. Yep, that you may fear the Lord your God. Now this is the commandment, and these are the statutes and judgments which the Lord your God has commanded to teach. Greatest commandment, maybe it's not. Anyway, these are the statutes and judgments which the Lord your God has commanded to teach you, that you observe them in the land. And I always find it interesting, the word the Lord comes from, I guess, maybe directly translated as the name of God, which they don't usually display. And Moses, when talking to the burning bush, God says his name is I am that I am, which is a very interesting statement. And then God, what is your translation of God? The source of all being? The essence of all that is? I don't know. Anyway, multiply greatly. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And I've heard before that the one used here is not one as in singular, but one as in a unity. Let's see what the Strong's has to say. No, it says a numeral, properly united, i.e. one, or as an ordinal, first, the first, alike, alone, altogether, and anything apiece, a certain, daily, each, one, 11, every, few, first, highway, a man, once, one, only, other, some, together. So I'm not really seeing much evidence for its talking about a unity. God is a unity of things, a unity of everything. But I don't know. I don't know Hebrew that well. Root word. A primitive root to unify, collect, go one way or other. Yeah, so let's see, let's go back here, going back. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. I think it's good to talk about these things. For one, it kind of unifies values and principles, right? Nobody's got to be absolutely right. I myself, I don't know, I guess I take the Bible with a huge grain of salt, and I believe there's a lot of wisdom here to glean, but there's some things that I just don't understand. What else would I like to share with you this morning? Within this theme of kind of loving your neighbor as yourself, and what's required of us but to be just and merciful and to walk humbly. There is in Romans, the mystery of the gospel. What happened there? The mystery of the gospel. Doesn't want to find it for me. Stream connection is not stable. Mystery. Is it Ephesians? I forget if it's Ephesians or Romans. I think it's Ephesians. Let's check here. Seems to like to use the word mystery, the purpose of the mystery by which you can read, you may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ, which in other ages is not made known to the sons of men, so it has now been revealed by the Spirit to his holy apostles and prophets. The mystery from the beginning of the ages, which has been hidden in God who created all things through Jesus Christ. Appreciation of the mystery. Let's see. I think what I'm looking for is what happened? Here we go. Christ in us. Oh wow, 7:30. I am beyond my time here. So maybe I need to be more prepared for this. I thought this might go a little bit more smoothly, but I can see that I am, yeah, mind is not yet sharp. Should have had some cup of coffee, and maybe I'll have my Bible in front of me next time because I know where the stuff is in there. Anyway, my main point here is, at least what I've found, is that having Christ inside of you. What does that mean? It's no longer I that live, but Christ who lives within me. If you imagine Christ being the essence of the universe, the source of all life, the source of all love, and just being that in people's lives. Here, last one. Let's see, I think it's John chapter 13. Oh, am I in 13? Okay. And so you have the summary of the commandments, which is basically to love. A new commandment I give you. That does not work. New commandment, right? So God gave 10 and it was a big hit, but God gave another one, it's not as popular. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. Again, a new commandment I write to you, which the thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is passing and the true light. I knew it was John 13. Go. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. So how do people know that you are a Christian? The way that you love people. The way that you love people. So yeah, I'll leave that with you. That's the new commandment of Jesus, and I always like having fun with Christians and saying, hey, God gave 10 commandments, right? Yeah. And then Jesus is God, right? Yeah. And if God gave a new commandment, that would be pretty popular, right? Yeah. Well, in the New Testament, Jesus gives a new commandment. What is it? I don't know. Some Christians get it. Some people know. But this is how people know that they're actually Christians, the way they love people. So, anyway, I send you love, and thanks if you're watching this. Have a wonderful day.